Now in the future, you're going to see research, which I don't know how dependable it is because the pharmaceutical companies are greedy. I don't put anything past them, including research that indicates that, oh, certain genes, you know, mean a mental disorder, but they don't exactly equate to that because there's still an element of free will and self-determination, self-control, self-discipline. There's still an element, you know. Just because you feel like doing something doesn't mean you're going to do it. So even if you find the genes of to create a certain personality or make someone more inclined and increase their proclivity to certain behaviors, you haven't absolutely said, hey, this guy has this gene, let's automatically force medicate him. If he doesn't want to take medicine, we'll fucking put him in an institution where they watch him take medicine and then shine a flashlight down his fucking throat to make sure he's not fucking hiding the pill in his mouth somewhere. You know? It's fucking ridiculous. What is this, Nazi fucking Germany? You know, you may as well, if you're going to do it like that, change the American flag to a Nazi flag. Let's be straightforward, you know? Let's not pretend that we're something we're not. If we're going to be a bunch of fascist, Nazi fucking scum, then let's fucking represent that way, okay? But if we're going to claim that we have rights and freedoms that other countries don't enjoy, then, you know, let's treat people fairly, including especially the mentally ill. You can judge the fairness of the system not by the women in the system, as some communists have claimed, I think it was Marx or something, but by the least of the system. How fair is the least of our brethren treated? That's one measure of the fairness of a system. And who's the least of the brethren? Someone who's poor and fucking labeled mentally ill. Especially somebody who actually is mentally ill. Okay, so, anyway, going back to that. Again, I don't see any reason to change the system based on a new advancements in technology that allow you to determine what gene. Okay? Because even if you determine the amount the gene affects the brain, and you can say, oh, this person has this gene, and you say, well, he's, scientifically he's 10 times more fucking likely to act up than someone who just has this gene who falls under the schizophrenic category or whatever, right? So even if it's like that, still, I don't agree with the system. Even if there was a way to diagnose that someone has that for sure. Just because someone has it for sure doesn't mean that you automatically should treat them the way that these people suggest you treat them. We live in a system where all these people, sell out. Okay? It's not just this one psychiatrist and then you can go to another psychiatrist and magically, you're saved and he contradicts the first guy. No. That's not how it is at all. You're almost never going to find a psychiatrist who contradicts the other ones. Call it professional fucking courtesy. Call it selling out. Call it job security. Call it whatever you like. But that's how it is. That's the reality of it. So what should be done with these people? I'll put it like this. The guy who, got killed, right? If he had passed a very basic test that shows that they're in reality, either they agree with the questions and they believe that's the nature of reality, which is something we never truly determined in the first place. But if they do agree, or if they know what you expect, because it's such a basic test, then you know what the person expects. And even if you don't agree with the nature of reality, which is your right to, you can still pass the test based on understanding what people want you to say. You see what I mean? So if that guy had passed that test, chose not to take his medication, and still lunged at the cop, he gets killed, okay? He made that choice. He had the right to make that choice. He'd understand the risks and the benefits of the choice, of the direction of his treatment. And he paid the price or get the pluses depending on the situation. In this case, paying the price. Fair play. That, my friends, is how the system should be. Period. Period. Not the way that it is. We've given psychiatrists too much control. We've given pharmaceutical companies too much influence. And that influence extends unwarranted, unfair influence that extends to politicians and the legislation that follows. This, my friends, is not the way an innovative, affluent society should operate. These are the preconditions of fascism, of totalitarianism, of having an invisible secret government that is a dictatorship with one or more dictators, but not too many, more than one, that determine the policy. This is unfair. This is not righteous. It's not right. I mean, and it's really sad, you know. When I've proven beyond any doubt that psychiatry is a fraud, when the top psychiatrists have come out and said it's highly political, and you know, they're treating normal conditions with pills, you know. And then who are the people who determine whether, you know, you go to the psych ward? Police. What are police likely to say? They're like, well, just drug him up so we don't have to worry about our safety. Are police concerned with our rights, or are they concerned with the order and their own safety? Well, let's look at protests, right? Let's look at the shootings that happened all across the nation. What was the number one reason the police shot somebody? Was it because they care about that person's rights, or was it because they cared about their safety? Why do they shoot tear gas at protesters and rubber bullets? Because they care about that person's safety and that person's freedoms? Or because they care about the order of society and their own safety? So the police have proven beyond any doubt that almost every single time they're going to put their safety and the order of society first above your liberties and your constitutional rights. That's what they've shown us without any doubt. So why would we put it up to them? Leave it up to them whether or not you get taken to the psych ward. Why would we do that? That's insanity. Stupidity. That's like leaving it up to a cocaine dealer whether or not you're forced on cocaine. That's like leaving it up to a cocaine dealer's best friend whether or not you're forced on cocaine. That's like leaving it up to a cocaine dealer's supplier whether or not you're forced medicated with cocaine. The parallels are quite apparent and reasonable, as well as disturbing and immoral. The implications show an immoral society, that is. So I've answered in these two videos what should be done with quote-unquote the mentally ill and what is wrong with our system in general, without going into specifics and talking about CIA and secret government projects, because in psych wards, you're offered, many times you go there, you're offered this little piece of paper, okay? The same people we say they're not mentally healthy, they're not in a mental state which is healthy enough for them to be concerned about their safety or others, you're going to have them sign a piece of paper. This allows them to experiment on you. We have experimental drugs, and we want you to sign this, you know, release form. We want you to sign this piece of paper to cover our asses because we don't give a shit about you. We give a shit about our fucking agenda. So here, sign this piece of paper. You say someone who really is mentally ill. No, it's over here. It's over here. Oh, it's over here? Okay. I mean, come on. Come on. Disgusting. Pathetic. Then you got a bunch of control freaks. I mean, just Google psychiatric abuse. Google sex offenders in psych wards. Google physical abuse and psych. I mean, there's a bunch of control freaks, bunch of fucking egomaniacs, bunch of psychopaths, bunch of fucking pedophiles, bunch of rapists working in psych wards. Okay? I mean, they have cameras in people's rooms in psych wards. I believe it was Mills Peninsula. They have cameras in the rooms. And I asked them, I said, are these cameras on? They said no. And they don't allow you behind the counter for a good reason. Why? Because when I got behind the counter, I forgot why. What did I see? The cameras were on. They're watching people change and masturbate, etc., etc. This is the world we live in. With cameras in your room and drug dealers writing legislation. Thank you.